So Ex Bapaume is all about training up soldiers right from the very basic level right up to a very highly trained state. They start as basically peers fire manoeuvre, going up to fire teams, and then up to operating as an independent section in the bush, going up to a platoon, operating as a platoon, all as part of a wider company. So it starts right at the basic level and moves all the way up to the top. So the exercise was basically split into 3 parts. The first part, we did a bunch of extra training, including welcoming the Canadian platoon with a porphyry on the marae, and I think they got a buzz out of that. The second part was a live firing component, where we went out into the bush, did some peers fire manoeuvre and then fire team manoeuvres on a jungle lane, and also used the SART targets on the range. And then finally we deployed out into the field as a company with 3 full platoons, and we spent 48 hours in the field operating in the bush out there. So the Canadians were integrated right from the very top right down to the very bottom. At the section level, there are at least 2 Canadians per section, so they were well integrated there at the soldier level. About a third of our sections were actually commanded by Canadians in this exercise, and there were quite a few Canadian 2ICs as well in the sections. And then finally, one of our 3 platoons was actually commanded by a Canadian platoon commander, and he did very well indeed. And we also had a Canadian platoon sergeant. So as you can see, right from the very top to the very bottom, the Canadians were integrated into the company. Working with the Canadians was a pleasure right from the very start. They integrated well, they were keen, they came out into the bush ready to learn and quite excited to see what the New Zealand bush was like. I think a few of them were maybe a little bit surprised by how we do things, but by and large, look, they integrated really well. At a personal level, they're all lovely people, all very nice and polite as you expect a Canadian to be, and then at the professional level, everything worked smoothly. We integrated really well.
How did the Canadian contingent find training with the New Zealand Army? The Canadian contingent found it very positive. They worked well together. At times it can be confusing with the different SOPs from Canada and New Zealand, but overall very effective as we worked well together in the integrated platoon. The Wairu weather, it's just like every army base I've been on. You have 4 seasons in one day, from sunny and nice weather, hot, to very cold and rainy, and a little bit of snow actually came down on us last night. So it's very similar to what we experience in Canada as well. Some of the highlights of training with the 5-7 Battalion, personally speaking for myself, is working with the 5-7 Battalion members themselves, having them integrated into our sections, having different leaderships, a mix of Canadian and New Zealand leadership, integrating our SOPs and their SOPs, and seeing how different ours is from theirs.
The